Just got back from the gym. A couple quick thoughts about the gym and God, the gym and Christianity, lifting weights when I say the gym. So I started lifting weights, nothing to do with religion, not involved at all. Purely pursuit to build strength for my sport, which was at the time baseball. And then it was like, hey, like, I can grow my biceps, like, that's sick. Maybe girls will like me. But I really enjoyed the bodybuilding aspect. So I got into that. And now, like, when I go to the gym, the reason I'm lifting the weights is really to build muscle. Like, end of story. And, well, I do think that can be corrupted easily. And I still have a lot of work to do with the vanity of it. I still think I've come a long way in sort of finding ways to incorporate God, incorporate faith into gym and the pursuit specifically of bodybuilding, which I want to talk about here. So a couple things I want to cover. One sort of obvious thing first is, like, you could just pray between sets. Like, it's not that hard. You take like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, a minute rest. That's prayer. Instead of, looking around at everyone else in the gym, looking at the girl's butt, comparing how much weight you're lifting to the other dude, put your head down, look at yourself in the mirror, and say a quick prayer. Often I find myself too, especially on bench or squat or like a real heavy movement, like looking at the bar, taking a couple deep breaths, but also praying, like, Lord, give me the strength to get through this. So that's kind of more an obvious one, just finding those little pockets of rest to pray. But probably the biggest thing which I've found is through the gym, I'm able to mortify or crucify my flesh by pushing really hard, by doing sets to failure, by doing drop sets, all that Sigma lifting David Goggins stuff. The term he uses is callous your mind, which I definitely think is true. One of the more religious terms is like mortifying your flesh, which is, I guess, subduing fleshly, earthly, often immediate gratification desires to your higher order mind and orientating that towards God. That could be something like praying a rosary on your knees. The pain of praying on your knees, you're sort of taking that in and letting kind of your body know, like, hey, like, I'm the master and I have the dominion over sin and I can choose. And what I found is that I used to struggle a lot with porn and masturbation, jerking off, all that. And while they're not identical at all, doing, let's say, like an incline dumbbell bench, when you're on your last rep and you're like pulling the weight all the way back or letting it fall back, and you feel like your pec fibers just stretching and it's so painful. There's the physical pain, but there's also the very mental pain of like, this sucks. Like, I don't want to do this at all. I want to go home, lie in the blanket. And to get the growth in the gym, you have to push through that pain. You have to sort of endure the discomfort. And I found that when you're wrestling with temptation for eating junk food, but more so like a major sin, like watching porn, well, your pec fibers aren't tearing apart. The mental struggle is awfully similar of resisting that temptation. I find that there's a massive crossover in lifting weights heavy and resisting to that temptation. So when I go to the gym, I'm there, yes, to build muscle, but realizing that bodybuilding is such a vehicle to crucify your flesh. It's such an amazing vehicle and a gift from God to be able to grow muscle. That's cool. Like, get a good workout, and that's great for your health. You're getting cardio, you're breaking a sweat. Hopefully you're talking to people in the gym, but also you're mortifying your flesh. You're telling your body who's boss, and that just because something is difficult, and just because there's a desire to put the weight down, a desire to jerk off, a desire to eat the junk food, you don't have to do it. And resisting those fleshly desires in all of those different categories overlap. And the gym is an awesome way that I love to train that. And last little thing too, finding God in the gym, it's just such a gift. Like, it's so cool. I do this a couple times with my arm, with like a couple dumbbells, and not only does my arm get stronger so I can pick up groceries better, my bicep grows. Like, that is such a cool gift from God. And I feel that I'll often lose that fact when I'm so, knee deep in the process of I gotta hit the long head of the bicep, I gotta like bring the arm all the way back here and do the doohickey. Like, there's so much stress and angst about it, especially in like the bodybuilding aspect. But taking a step back and realizing, hey, like, it doesn't matter how much muscle I have for heaven. Like, that doesn't matter at all. This is an earthly pursuit. Keeping it grounded is an earthly pursuit. And then finding ways to work God into it. Those are things that I found by just praying between sets in the gym here and there. I found also realizing that by pushing hard, going to failure, all that stuff, I'm mortifying the flesh and callousing my mind, which helps me resist sin. And then also appreciating how much of a gift it is to grow in strength, how much of a cool activity and a gift from God that is. So I hope that made sense, and those are just some ways I've found of incorporating God in the gym. There's a lot more that I've found, which I'll be talking about soon. Let me know if there's anything that you found that helps you. But yeah, praying between your sets, realizing it can mortify your flesh, and just thanking God for how much of a gift it is to grow in size and strength. It's just such a cool thing. Hope this helped. Peace.